Good morning everybody, welcome to Stockradar Stocks on the Move for another week. Today's date is the 22nd of May 2025. My name is Richard Lee and I manage the stockradar.com.au website for you. Okay, it's been a new high bonanza, incredibly stocks going higher and higher and higher, rebounding from the last Trump tariff sell-off, and it's been an amazing move. So with things like stocks like JB Hi-Fi, who knows where this will take us, but JB Hi-Fi and CBA have both made new highs again in an extraordinary strong uptrend. Ours is not to reason why, but to do. And that's how we do it. Let's see what this brings. Either way, we'll manage either position to the best outcome we can. We don't know what the market's going to do, but I know what I'm going to do. So these new highs on these stocks here, we don't know what's going to happen. It seems extraordinary they're making new highs, but they're doing it. And we saw CBA at $110, 120, 130, 140. Couldn't go high. It's now 170 plus. So we just don't know where these trends take us, and that's what I'm about, capturing these trends. And now is the time to do that. Okay, so let's get into the stock pick count for a start, okay? So firstly, hang on. Firstly, so we've got a few top 10 ratings here. Bank of Queensland, Brambles still making new highs. CBI is back on the ring again. MP1, Megaport's doing okay. Medibank Private's doing okay. QBE, Wesfarmers Sol, all have been here for a long time. Regis Resources and JB Hi-Fi, which you can see there, and we've seen before. I'll have a quick look at that later on, but it's making a new high and had a good rally yesterday, and it's looking very good indeed. Stock pick count itself is only up one this week. I think there was 3 in and 2 out this week, so we're up 1 overall. 35 stock picks at 158. We're going to talk a little bit about this later on, how we break this down and how we take advantage of it and how we can control what we're doing. Just a couple of simple ideas for you to try and help you with your portfolios. Okay, so firstly, that's the stock pick count. Our portfolios are mostly full at the moment. Back on track again. So let's go to the overseas markets and see what's happened there. Now we know we've had a pretty big rally for quite a period of time here, but it's now getting to that level where you may well start seeing some selling. We did see a big down day last night. It's getting up to that area, which is probably quite dangerous, but we're in this mid-range and we don't really know what it's going to do. The same with the Nasdaq. It's got quite high, going to come back a bit last night. Volume's been steady, momentum's flattening off, so it's really getting into that sort of neutral, I don't really know sort of stage at the moment. A new high will change everything for me, but it hasn't happened yet, and we've got to get through that high for us to do that. So although you've got some volumes, there's some mixed business here, which means there's certainly some interest still out there, but the sellers have certainly come back on board and been holding this down. So our market itself has done quite well again, but similar picture. It's probably going to be a bit down today after last night, but we're up into that zone here, which is danger territory for the ASX 200, but it's doing okay, and that is the challenge up there at the highs, 85555. Okay, gold happily continuing on its merry path upwards. It's purely a little corrective pattern we've got here, nothing significant. A little bit of selling here, but the price is holding up pretty well so far, so we'll keep an eye on that, but it's holding okay for now, and the trend looks firmly intact there. Copper just dallying around those highs, sitting below there, not doing too much, not collapsing and not rallying, just sort of hovering there. So we just have to wait, sit tight and be patient on that. We're not a lot of volumes going through and not a lot of momentum there. It's flat. It's above zero, which is a positive because we've got this reasonable uptrend, but it's a little bit flat at the moment. So we're just going to hold our fire there. And Brent crude is going down. It has rallied the last couple of weeks, but nothing special there. So that's the commodities, that's the indices at the moment. Now let's get to the good bit, which is our specific stocks. We looked at some interesting stocks last week, which have done pretty well. We've seen a rebound. In a lot of stocks in the last month or so, but I just want to focus really on the new high scenario. I work in the ASX 200. That's where I do my best knitting. It's a safe place to operate. You can still make great money in there. So that's where I operate, and that's my focus, and that's my specialty. So let's just go through a few of these. You will have seen some of these stocks before, but I want to keep reiterating this because this is how it works. So things like Telstra, which is probably a bit doomy and gloomy down around here, it's gone up from about 380 to nearly 470 70 since February this year. So it's had a great rally, a great breakout, great volume, and it's looking great. Momentum looking great. So again, it's a leading stock, Telstra stock. I think it's tipping up its yield a little bit. So it's all looking pretty good. Their trend intensity rating is 10. Good stock. Okay, Wesfarmers. Again, a lot of these stocks did have a little tip, especially during the Trump tariff area. Wesfarmers, we had a good rally up here from around the $50 up to around maybe 70, and we just re-entered this stock. It made a new high back here in February this year. It did dally around a bit. We saw a bit of selling here, and we thought we were gone, but it did hold above our stop, and we're still in there, and it's now moved back to new highs, and it's rallying nicely. So tough times, but we got back on track, and you can see here again, it's above the average. Volume is great, momentum is zooming higher, trend intensity rating is 10. Wesfarmers is another one of those leading stocks that we like to play in. When they're trending up, they move very well. Okay, the next one, of course, is Commonwealth Bank. Again, another new high yesterday. Just keeps doing it. Stranger things may seem happen, but you might sort of think, well, this is too high again. I focus on the price action, not the price levels, okay? So, excuse me. I focus on the, as I say, the price action, and the price action is making new high, and in my book, that's where you buy a stock. Excuse me. Okay, JB Hi-Fi is the other one there. It's made a new high again, making new highs, beautiful new highs. We could have been in that situation when we broke down here. It could have gone down, could have gone sideways. It didn't. It went up, like CBA, like a few of the other ones, T&E, which we'll have a look at shortly. But it's just looking okay. Volume hasn't been fantastic. It always is a bit mixed with JB Hi-Fi, but volume's getting back on the case, and so is the moving average. So with things like volume, to take the weight off that, sometimes we use the moving average, use price action, and we use momentum, because they measure different things. So we don't base our argument on any one thing. Now, volume's important, but it's not the end, not the be all and the end all. If we're above the average, momentum's good, price action is good, that is enough, because as we know, stocks can rise on low volume sometimes, depending on the nature of the stock. Anyway, JB Hi-Fi is going higher, looking very good. A couple of new ones, again, Qantas, making lots and lots of money apparently, and it's making also new highs. So the market likes this stock. It did break down during the Trump tariff thing. We protected our profit, as we do, but now we're back on board in this one again. So we've now got a new all-time high. A bit of volume without it being impressive. It looks steady enough. Momentum's just ticking above zero, into positive territory, and it's well above the average. So the trend intensity rating is not a maximum. It's an 8, but it looks good. So Qantas again, maybe we'll be going for another run. Again, we don't know what's ahead of us. It could be another one of those lucrative periods. And if anything is to guide, so if the new high is anything to go by, it's going to be a very useful indicator for us, okay? So there's a few good new highs amongst some good leading stocks for you there, nice and safe. Okay, now, one we've been patiently waiting for is Lottery Corp. Just doesn't want to do it for some whatever reason. I keep showing you this chart because I think eventually it will break up, but we've got this... we've got this pattern here. We've got the high lows and the resistance area. Now, inevitably, the suggestion is that these break higher because the buyers are stronger and they're pushing the sellers. It is probably true in most cases, but not always true. So I think if I remember, another stock is BHP at $50. Had their big flat top there, and then eventually it did break down. It's been all the way back down to 35, or where it's been to. So they're not necessarily bullish. They're bullish patterns, but they don't necessarily always break up, because if they did, and we had a guarantee, it would be easy for everyone. But it's not that easy. So we've got a trend intensity rating of +2 here. It's certainly trying. It's certainly got good volume, and momentum's good. It's above the average. Everything is ripe and ready for it, but it just hasn't done it yet. So we have to wait further. Okay, the only other stock I want to go through today is another new one, which is looking interesting. Again, we saw BlueScope Steel's back up towards its highs again. If we look at this longer term pattern here again, you get this big flat bottom triangle thing that is long term bullish in effect. So we look at this pattern, we see these lows creeping higher and higher. We've got good support around here. So now we really just sit here and wait for this to occur, for this to break. Now, I'm not going to take this one here. I'm going to wait till this high breaks up here, the ultimate high, because we've really got sort of two spots there, these little two spots there. But really, this whole area is resistance area, so I'd be much happier waiting for it to get through R1 before I get too keen on this one. Now, the trend intensity rating is +1, which is good. It's above the average. Momentum is good. Volume is pretty middling. There's quite a bit of selling that came in this one last rally down here, and the volume, although it's pushed the price higher, is a bit middling. So I'm really just going to sort of wait again and wait for this new high above R1 to tell me what to do with BlueScope. But there's a few other stocks like this in there. Now, if I go through some of these stocks today, if I look at some of the potential new highs, if I go to my mining sector, I've got 6 new stocks, of which BSL is one of them. Okay, in the health sector, there is 5 stocks potentially making new highs. In the transport sector, there is 4 stocks potentially making new highs, of which QBE is one. Commercial service and supply sector, I've got 4 stocks in there. Of which Zero might be one. Diversified financial, I have 8 stocks in there, all waiting to make new highs. Energy one, and also industrial metals one. So there's a proliferation of potential stocks make new highs. So what sort of era are we heading into? We don't know. But if these stocks start making new highs, the potential is for some good gains there. So get along to the trading centre, have a look at these stocks, see these opportunities, and get onto some of these, because it's looking quite an interesting period at the moment. Okay, so now I want to get into the slides today. What I wanted to talk a little bit about to you was just about how I break up my stock picks here. I've got 35 stock picks there. So I've got 35 stocks of 158 there. So I break them into 3 groups. 20 trending up stocks, there are 35. That's my focus. Neutral trend intensity zone are my prospects. There are about 40 of those. There's probably a few less because there's a few takeovers going on and a few delistings going on, but there are 40 in the neutral zone, and there are 83 trending down, and they are immediately discarded. Okay, so of those 35 stocks at the moment, I'm averaging a return of about 11.7, and at an 84-day holding period, it's got a pretty good annualised rate there at the moment. So we're making some good profits quite fast at the moment. This has been an exceptionally powerful period to capitalise on, and that's why you don't worry, you don't wait, you just do, because this is all going to pass you by unless you get onto some of these stocks. Okay, so those 35 stocks, the ones that we focus on. Now, if I go, this is my Stockradar portfolio at the moment. There's a few ETFs in there, but if I go into that, and you can click on any of these. This is the Stockradar portfolio in the trading centre. You can click on any of these icons here, and you'll get the new high. You'll see what's happening with all these stocks here. Who's making new highs, who's not. We can see what EVNs do. But all these 35 stocks in here will all be on the up and the uptrend, and you also see where their stops are. Now down below here I have the volume, I have the momentum, and I also have my trend intensity rating there, when it's positive, when it's negative. So it just gives you an idea of which stocks are. But as I said before, this whole group of stocks here, 35 of them, are all trending higher. So you can click on those and look at all those in the trading centre. Okay. So sometimes, there are 35 stocks picks there. Sometimes we can end up with too many stock opportunities. You may have your own filters to cull some of these out, but sometimes you're still left with a few too many. What do? Well, I take stocks as they come up, okay, and I run 5 stock and 10 stock portfolios. So if I run a 5 stock portfolio, if I get a new entry that satisfies the qualification, it is entered. And once I've got 5 stocks in a 5 stock portfolio, I stop. I can't buy any more. All my equities, all my cash is used up. I've allocated all my money, and I'm sitting with my 5 stocks. One of those has to drop out before I can add a new one. Okay, and that's how it works. The 10 stock would be the same. The 10 stocks are more conservative portfolio. It doesn't perform as well, but it's probably a bit steadier. But that's how those portfolios work. So that's how you keep control. So it's really important that you control what you're doing, and it's also a little bit about making your cash work hard. So capital allocations are made equally through the portfolio, no favours. So if I've got $100,000 in a 5 stock portfolio, I'm working $20,000 on each stock. Okay. Sector exposure must be limited to a certain portion of your portfolio. So I can't have 5 banks in there, or I can't have 5 miners in there. So there are limitations there. Okay. So there are lots of things we've got to do to control what we do and how we behave with our portfolios. But this just gives you an idea of how you can sort of handle your portfolio, because sometimes you might buy stocks, and it's very easy to slip some of those stocks into the bottom drawer and not worry about them and think, it'll come back one day. But by using this portfolio approach, you're making your cash work hard for you all the time. If it starts to go against you, you get out and you whack in a new one, and that's how it works. Okay, so all the portfolio results you've seen, which I've been running for over 22 years, are sitting there on the home page for you to have a look at. Okay, now, so that's a lot of chit chat. Let's go. So what's happening at Stockradar at the moment? The newsletter is out next week. In the macro view, we talk about riding the black swan events. I've talked about this before, but using them to your advantage, which we must, because it is the unexpected events that move markets, not the expected events, okay? So don't fight them, ride them. That's how I try and approach it. In the micro view, I take a closer look at innovation and technology stocks. There's lots of good ones starting to appear on our board, all moving up into the top 100, top 50. In Radar's route, we talk about identifying and capturing that little piece of price action, the trend. This happens occasionally, but we can get it, we can make some money out of it. Our stock of the month is EVM, which has been a real flyer for us. And our stock at alert is the little diversified financial called PPM. And I was going to show you briefly a stock that I talked about a couple of weeks ago, which was AFG, Australian Finance Group, and had a little rally yesterday. It's broken out of this little pattern here and had a little jump up to about 207, got up to about 211 at some stage, or 215, and came back. But the little stock I talked to you about, as I say, a couple of weeks ago, it just had a nice little downtrend accumulation, moving to an uptrend phase. We've got a reversal pattern here. We've got some volume appearing here, which is looking very nice indeed, and some good momentum. So some of these little stocks can be pretty interesting at times. So I just thought I was going to show you that one. But Pepper Money is another one I've been looking at. Comes up with my scanner. It's a smaller stock, but it may be worth you having a look at. Okay, you can always take a free trial of Stockradar. Check out our Premier page at Trading Centre, which is published each Sunday before the market opens, with all our covered stocks boxed up into a simple, easy to read, tabulated format. Stops, reversals, entries, exits, all the information you need. Okay, so you can worry all you like, but it won't help you make money, okay? You've got to just do it. So at the moment, it really is a time the new highs are hitting the board, and a lot more new highs coming on board. New highs say they want to go higher. This has been a powerful period for you, and for now it still is, okay? So not the ASX 200, but our specific stocks. Be brave. There is currently proliferation of stocks threatening to make new highs. So there's your opportunity. Have a look, see what you think, and hopefully you can follow a few good ones. Okay, so thanks everybody for listening to me again this week. Watch your trends, heed your stops, keep it simple, have fun, stay safe, and I'll see you all next week. Thanks very much.